for and contract amendments to the 5th Street and Leavenworth Street pedestrian improvements project. Commissioners also plan to consider a renovation project and services agreement for Prairie Paws Animal Shelter. Shout out to all the puppies out there. Other items include approval to purchase robotic mowers to cut your grass, portable pitching mounds to help out with your kids' t-ball practice, and field protection for the Steel and Pipe Supply Ballpark. Story number 2. Don't fear, Fort Riley's newest unit will strengthen the Army's ability to detect and engage against airborne threats. Soldiers and family from the 1st Infantry Division Combat Aviation Brigade gathered last week to celebrate the activation of Foxtrot Troop, the 1st Attack Battalion, and the 1st Combat Aviation Brigade. Fort Riley is being entrusted to extend the eyes and ears of Air Force pilots from all around the world, particularly of the American type. These advancements enable them to detect, identify, and engage threats well before they enter the enemy's weapons engagement zone. Interesting developments from the proverbial heart of the Manhattan area. And for Wildcat 91.9, my name is Adrian Holguin, and this has been your News Update.
Good noon, Manhattan, Kansas, and Kansas State University. Happy Wednesday, and welcome back to the SGA Weekly Update on Wildcat 91.9. You belong. New year, same host. The name's Jimmy Kaufman, coming at you live from Studio D in McCain Auditorium with a couple of new special guests who are going to get viciously grilled for the next hour on their actions with the Student Governing Association. But first, we want to say welcome back. Obviously programming has maintained and restarted ever since the semester's back, but it's the first SGA Weekly Update of the calendar year. It feels good to be back. It's a good time. And to have our inaugural show of 2026 back, I'd like to welcome the College of Business Senator Matt Holzmeister and the College of Arts and Sciences Senator, as well as the Student Allocations Committee Chair, Max Black. Guys, good afternoon.
Thanks for having us, Jimmy. That was quite the intro. That got me excited. I'm excited.
Thank you. I try to bring the energy a little bit. I'm a little bit tired. I've recently started going to the gym again. You guys would be surprised. I'm not a gym goer. But you know what? All my roommates go to the gym, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta get right, physically, thus mentally. So yesterday I had my first chest day in a while. I don't think I know how to use a bench press.
It takes a learning curve.
I am like, my form was ridiculous, is how I would describe it. Not like I'm doing anything crazy, but as I'm going up, my roommates who went with me described it as me going like out or like above my head from my chest, in which I kept hitting the thing that the bar rests on.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how I did that. One of the plates almost fell off. I don't know how I did that.
So is that your New Year's resolution?
I didn't have a New Year's resolution, which I think is why the gym's going to work out for me this year. Is because I didn't make it a resolution. I just did it.
Fire.
Right?
My New Year's resolution was to become a podcaster.
Really?
Well, we're making it come true here today.
Well, Matt, you're in the right place, brother. Enough talking about me. It's a new year, new show. Glad to have you guys on to get us started. How are you guys doing on this fine Wednesday?
I'm doing fantastic. Got a great night's rest. Getting ready for the show. Could barely sleep. It was like Christmas morning coming on the radio show here.
It's so exciting. Max, how about you, man?
Yeah, no, I'm doing great. Had a couple classes this morning, came in. I'm super excited to be here. I've always been told that I have a great face for the radio, so
come on.
I'm glad that I finally get to put my talents to use.
That was a good one. I'm going to go ahead and give you... There we go. That was well deserved. Glad to hear you guys are having a good Wednesday. Good start to the semester and a good start to the day. Let's go ahead and get into the brass tacks. Let's start with you, Matt. All right, College of Business Senator. That is a name. That is a title that comes with many words. Give us a quick rundown on what those words entail.
Yeah, so really what that does is I guess I'm kind of just an average Joe. I'm bottom of the totem pole really in student government, but I try to make the most of it. When I first came in to K-State, really I didn't have any interest in going into student government at all. But 2 years ago, I was kind of told maybe to look at running. I actually decided not to run, but I wrote my name in on the write-in ballot and got a whopping 3 votes and won, and that
Really?
catapulted my journey into student government.
So you were one of the 3 votes.
I was one of the 3 votes, so...
Who are the other 2?
Well, I received 3 total votes. One of them was me, the other one was my brother, and the other one was my friend.
Hey, that's good family.
And then everything just so happened to fall exactly into place where certain people like ran a campaign, got like 200 votes, and just decided they didn't want to do it anymore.
What?
And so the person above me had 200 votes, and then the person below me had 2 votes. And so I just so happened to get the 1 extra vote that got me in the spot. And so we've been able to do a lot now.
Hey, to that brother and that friend, you made a lasting impact. That's a big deal right there. Congratulations to you. You've changed the landscape of SGA forever. That's a really cool story, actually. So wait, you're telling me people were getting 200 votes, they were running on a campaign, and then they just bowed out?
Well, a couple of the people, went into a different branch of student
Okay.
government. They moved to the executive branch, and then actually one person did actually just run a campaign and drop out.
That's kind of awesome. I didn't know you could do that.
But there is a handful of people, in student government that have like 1 vote, 2 votes. So that's why I always tell people think it's a big thing to, like, you got to work really hard to get in it, but really you just kind of got to put a little effort in, and there's always a spot for them.
Make it happen. Wow. I mean, that's pretty impressive. That's awesome. So, as the average Joe, you put it, of SGA, what is it that you do as the senator of the College of Business?
So it's important to, I think, realize that when I first came into student government, I didn't run. I wasn't planning on running it. Didn't learn about anything that was going on in student government before I got into it. So my first thing was really just trying to figure out how it all worked, how the funding system works, and I guess the politics of student government. And my big thing was always just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. That occasionally ruffled some feathers. Some people didn't like the kind of my untraditional approach to doing some things, not necessarily.
If I may, you say untraditional approach.
Untraditional.
What does the if you would not mind explaining, what does that approach look like?
The untraditional approach, I think, really is kind of, seeing an issue on campus, asking maybe a couple questions on it, asking other students about how they feel about it. And then I kind of just draft a bill and introduce it. I don't really necessarily go and talk with, I guess, the Senate higher-ups about my bill first.
So you're in the lab alone.
I'm in the lab, well, a little bit alone. I work with a couple of my close friends and confidants in student government. But for the most part, I just kind of submit it, and we'll go up there and debate it and maybe amend it and see how it goes from there. And so occasionally it catches people off guard, and they say, this was done completely incorrectly. But I just, I'm like, hey, we can always amend it. You can always change it. And I feel like that's the best way for me to learn, and how I've been able to learn how to adapt to the situation a lot quicker.
It's a really interesting approach. I don't think I've met anyone who's done an approach like that. But I think honestly, hey, the best way to serve your community is meeting the people where they are. And it sounds like by using your eyes and ears and asking questions, it's kind of what you've been doing.
Yeah,
So-
a lot of people want to. I feel like everything has to be absolutely buttoned up and perfect before they do anything, and I don't see the point in doing that because oftentimes I see so many people that spend so much time on, something they believe in, or funding something, or doing a resolution, and then it doesn't go anywhere. It just fails right away. And so I said, I'm going to spend half the time push through, double the legislation, and see what sticks, and see what we can do.
Wow. That's awesome. Have you had many of these proposed bills pass?
Oh, no, we have had none of them passed.
Okay.
But we've had none of them passed, which, because I did that tactic, it taught me the second most important lesson, which is that you can get more done outside of student government occasionally than inside student government. Student government, I've had so many resolutions or bills fail, but I just go to the administration, and just sit down, have a talk with them, and they seem to they like my ideas, and then they just go and implement them themselves, and it's again saves a lot of the hassle than that a lot of the other people do. So
Yeah, I mean 100%. I like it. I like that approach. That's and honestly, because the thing is, SGA is important. SGA is something that can get a lot done, but it's not the end all be all as well. And I think that's a good example of it. Is if this avenue doesn't necessarily find its way through, the administration's also there to help. There are plenty of resources on campus. SGA is just one of the many, and also my personal favorite of the many. Okay, guys.
yeah, and SGA is really they get their money from the university, so the university just kind of allows SGA to allocate money to clubs, but ultimately it's the university that has the ultimate final say. And so I feel like the quicker you realize it, the more you can get done.
The more you can get done. Now, you said the magic word. You said two magic words, money and allocate. Let's move over to Max. Max, man, the Student Allocations Committee Chair, Max Black.
Mm-hmm.
What does that title entail, and how does that go with being the senator of the College of Arts and Sciences?
Yeah, well, I mean, Student Senate legislative branch in general is a couple different things, but I like to say the two main things we do is we allocate money, and then we advocate for what students want. So part of the Student Allocations Committee, it's one of our main ways of giving it back to students. So what we deal with is we deal with groups who travel to educational things. Like we believe that with our student dollars that we collect from the student service fee, we're like, if you're wanting to go do this super awesome thing, like we want Wildcat 91.9 to go on ESPN or something like that.
Whoa, hold on. Is it okay? Let's go ahead and make sure Stephen A. Smith is listening, maybe Max Kellerman.
That's what I'm saying.
Just make sure everyone's listening. Continue.
So say something super awesome like that comes up to one of our student orgs.
Like 91.9 getting a show on ESPN, right.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
They can come to the Student Allocations Committee, and we have some money to give to them to help fund their travel expenses, because we're like, man, wouldn't it be awesome if K-State could provide these experiences to the students that we have here?
That is, I think it's awesome personally. How does that play into things like study abroad?
So there's all sorts of stipulations that, to be honest, I might be the only one that knows about, but that's okay. So it's strictly for registered student orgs. So that's, your run-of-the-mill clubs. So Wildcat 91.9, I am sorry, you cannot actually receive this. But if there was a radio club or something like that, they could apply for the funding and receive that. It has to be for student orgs. It can't give it to like if your class is, everybody in your class is going on some event for, I don't know, Marketing 250 or something. That don't really count either. It has to be a student org event, basically.
Sorry, Marketing 250, you cannot go on this trip. It's been reported here. This is a first, all right? Okay, but that's an interesting dynamic. So it's only for designed clubs and organizations. Is that something in creation of those clubs or organizations? What does it look like when those things get created and thus get approved to be direct affiliates with the university?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily to throw Matt under the bus from earlier, but the money that SGA has is not necessarily university money. It's all collected from the student service fee, which is like the $489 or something you pay each semester, flat rate for each student. And then wait, what was your question? Oh, affiliated with the university.
How clubs can do so.
I got you. So clubs, like all the clubs here on campus, are registered with student programs and involvement, and there's 300 of them or something like that. So on org centrals, where everything goes down.
Okay.
So that's where all the forms are to apply for this under funding opportunities. And basically, if you're one of those orgs that's registered with SBI, you'll be receiving updates from them about when all this funding's available. Maybe sending out newsletters and things like that as well.
Okay. So let's say that I create a club called Jimmy Club.
Mm-hmm.
And for Jimmy Club, we have a project where we get a flight to Hawaii.
Yeah.
With and I have a cousin who stays there. I don't, I can go sleep. I can go chill on their couch. and I go to you, and I'm like, so the Jimmy Club wants to go to Hawaii. It's only one member, only one ticket. We just need allocations. And my club is officially, like, cool with the university. Would you be like, yeah?
Me personally, I'd be like, yeah.
Oh, let's go. Let's
But-
go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
There do be some other things involved. So, like, the reason we have a committee is we're supposed to judge these things based off of, like, the educational value.
Right.
Earlier this year, we kind of were redefining a lot of that stuff. So I was like, the educational value, past usage of funds, and then I added in there, and the clout to be gained by the university.
The clout to be gained. Okay.
Yeah. That got edited out, unfortunately.
Why did I get edited out? That's good. I like that, actually, because that's part of it, right? Clout's a big thing these days. Everyone wants some. I guess my curiosity there. So Wildcat 91.9, right? Is not considered available for these funds. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but if we were, this past August, a special study abroad program was created for media students to go cover the game in Ireland that started off the football season. Right. I was a part of that group. Covering the game because that is educational and a good look, and I guess clout for the university. Would, if it was an organization rather than a student radio station, would that have been approved?
Yeah, I think that would be the
Come
type
on.
of thing we're looking for. So it
Come on. Very nice. Very nice. Go on.
But then you'd probably hit the cap on that allocation. But so there is a cap on how much each person and each student organization can get. So
Okay.
there's always limitations on, I guess, some of the money we give.
Yeah, I guess the unfun rules of our funding is it's only $200 per student traveling, and we can only fund up to 15 students per like organization, and that's a yearly max. So
Okay.
you can only get $3,000 a year for your group, which is it's the unfortunate part, but I think that's a good safeguard in place because if you get to where you're spending $1,000 per student from these student fees, and that's kind of a little bit just taking money from every student and giving it to just these ones doing things.
But the Jimmy Club going to Hawaii, I don't think that's $30,000 for that plane ticket.
Yeah, you could get your $200 from it and have a good time.
I think that sounds pretty good to me. I don't know. I think it might be
That's
worth it.
part of the thing we're trying to get, at least. Student allocations, the committee that Max is the chair of, it really doesn't have as much money as another committee. The Community Engagement Fund, which we recently just changed significantly over this last semester, and so we're trying to get that allocation up, especially since I serve with Max a little bit on student allocations, and that committee funds 39 student organizations, or it did last year. Meanwhile, the Community Engagement Fund only funded 24. And the Community Engagement Fund has almost $100,000 more, $90,000 more in student money. So we're trying to balance those out. We're still kind of in process of that.
Yeah, I can give an update on that because
Please do. This is the SGA Weekly Update. After
yeah,
all.
this is something that I was kind of passionate about was not necessarily was advocating for the importance of this travel funding because the way it was is really. There's not very much reason to not give a student their full $200 to travel. That's covering registration costs, part of a plane ticket, maybe your fourth of a hotel room. So we had $39,000 allocated last year, and for the past 3 fiscal years. And it's up for review, and we're now, if it passes the Senate, the current bill reads $49,000, which
Oh wow,
that's a pretty good
Penny.
increase that we're happy to have. Now it's not official yet, but on top of that, we can pull up to $30,000 from reserves if there's a lot one year, so we don't have to necessarily stop.
how often do you see, I guess, this kind of money being asked for? Is this a thing that happens frequently with these organizations, or?
I mean, I've gotten 2 this morning, so
Oh wow.
yeah,
So it is happening pretty frequently.
it is. But I mean, part of the reason why we come on things like this radio show is just to get the name out there and let students know that, like, hey, I mean, if you want to go on this, but you maybe can't afford, there's support for you to do that.
Wow. And I think that's such a good part of how SGA helps the students, right? Because this is a big part of it. The allocations committee is a big part of the legislative branch, and these things are put in place because the student fee, it's a part of your tuition. You are helping pay for these things to later.
Almost $500.
Yeah, that's almost
Semester.
a semester. All right, that's $1,000 over a year. I did the math. Yeah, I went to school. But you think about how that accrues. That accrues to that's $4,000 for your college experience being just put into the SGA pool fund here, which can then be used by joining student organizations. And this is something I say often. The more you give to the university in terms of time, effort, joining a club, something like that, you'll get more out of it when you're being enriched. Like by joining the radio station for the past couple of years, I have had a great time, met best of friends at my time here, right? It has made my college experience better. Because of that, more opportunities are given. This is how things work with SGA, right? So you pay that tuition fee, right? And then you go, join a club. Then that club has an opportunity or an idea. You go back to the SGA in a way, that student fee can come back into your pocket to help you with maybe some things that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the student service fee, that every student is charged, it goes to a wide variety of things on campus like Lafine and the Rec, which are the two main big budget eaters.
Yeah, and the union.
But I try to always make sure that they're spending everyone else's money correctly and efficiently. I sometimes worry that we get a little too lax on giving money to everything. I argue a lot in student senate, or I guess discuss, that a lot of student senators treat a university as almost a mini city out there, and they think of themselves sometimes as like almost a mini city government, and they want to offer all sorts of a wide plethora of services, of amenities to students. But I always try to remind them that, hey, you got to pay for these things. These things cost money, and is the utilization rate high enough to charge 18, 20,000 students for this service? Or is it just better if like the few students that do use them go and just pay for it on their own with their own money? And so that's kind of my approach to how I go about talking about lots of things.
Right.
And there is a fair amount of disagreement on that. A lot of people disagree, but that's what I'm trying to do, really make sure we are spending every dollar efficiently, make sure we're cutting down waste, because this is, these are college students. Students are taking out loans to come here and trusting us, and they're going to be paying those off for years to come. And so, we should not be saddling them with extra payments just for some services that some students may not even use.
Oh, for sure.
And that's that's a fair assessment, because sometimes there are things on this campus I don't even know about.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know about Cat's Closet until I was a junior. And I've had interviews since then. All right. Maybe I need a jacket. I go on the news now. Tune in to Channel 8 on your TV. But that is a fair thing to think about, is how are these things going to, what's going to be the biggest benefit? How do we allocate? Do we make this thing higher quality, or do we make sure we include this thing? These are the things that have to be decided. And I do think that I can see the idea of looking at K-State as a mini city, because there's 20,000 of us. It's bigger than like half the towns in Kansas. There's a lot of people here. So there are, a lot of different things to think about. Curious to hear both of your opinions on this. What are maybe some of the things that you view most important when you think of what to allocate to, and what is, most important for the student experience at Kansas State?
Well, shoot, there's all sorts of things. I had the opportunity last year. I was on the student service fee committee making a lot of these decisions. And it can be incredibly difficult. Those meetings last hours upon hours. My personal favorite is probably the Rec. I think that it's a very justifiable expense. It's always packed. Everybody comes there. When you tour, you show that. The union is underrated for sure, because whether or not you use it, when you come and tour, that's one of the places they show you.
Well, on Halloween, they have like a 10-foot tall skeleton in there.
That's what I'm saying.
It's rad. They do thrift pop-ups there. They do concerts. Well, not there, but they do concerts. The union, best building on campus, low key. And the rec, I also agree with. As a new rec user, we need to fix the bench. The bench is broken. Besides, everything's good.
Well,
it's not my
I
form.
just,
It's broken.
I sat in on. I kind of have since left the student allocations committee just because I want to go and explore all the rest of the committees before I leave to learn about them and what they do. And so I went to the student service fee, and the rec was coming in for their 3-year allocation. And I was over Christmas break. I was looking at the rec. I was like, wow, this is actually like a pretty good deal compared to the market rates at other gyms. And I was like, I don't know how they're doing this. And then the rec came in, and I saw the finances, and I realized, it's because in like a couple of years they're going to be losing a lot of money, and because student government has not increased the rec funding since like 2017. They got like cut a lot during the COVID years, and they got a little increase here and there, but other than that, really not anywhere near the pre-COVID levels. Maybe sort of details may be a little bit sketchy on that, but ultimately the rec's getting a big increase now because they can't keep up with equipment. They can't keep up with maintenance because of how low the fees are. So that answered my question. I was looking at it over break, and I was saying, wow, I don't know how they're able to offer all this at this price. And it turns out they actually can't, and so we're going to be giving them a big an increase, I guess. I don't know what exactly that's going to look like, but it just answered some questions on that.
Yeah. And they're going to fix the bench.
They better.
They're going to fix the bench.
Hopefully.
It's not me. It's the bench.
But the goal is like hopefully that my biggest thing I want to make sure is that if we give you more money, the service actually gets better. The product actually gets better, and that's my big fear is that there's maybe a couple places on campus that I question where every year they come back, they ask for more money, and I say, has the service gotten better in the past 3 years? I don't always know. So that's something that I always try to scrutinize as well.
And that's fair. I get you got to look at things objectively, look at the numbers. That's what Kurt Signetti did, and look, he's a national champion at Indiana. And yeah, I do think the rec needs more funding because who's going to fix that dang vending machine right next to the badminton courts, guys? I would keep trying to get a Propel in there, and it's not letting me, and I am lacking electrolytes. All right.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's very interesting, and money is a constant problem. That's just, especially on campuses. There's a tuition costs a lot. Students are paying a lot to be here, and yet somehow universities are constantly broke. I don't know how it works. I don't know what's going on, but it happens. And I think that's where your guys' job becomes a lot more noble than some might realize. It is very important to have these things in place, these almost safeguards to make sure that places give the quality of what the student is paying for, and that's more than just the student fee. That's your whole tuition, really, in my mind.
Something neat. K-State, it's an awesome place. Our admin here is very awesome, super receptive. I mean, like Matt was talking about earlier, a lot of times you have a conversation with them about something you don't like, and they're already trying to fix it. So a neat thing it's a very niche part of student government, but every year when there's the tuition and college fees, those are up for review by a special student government committee called Tuition and Fees Strategy Committee or whatever. So your tuition's increased the past 3 years. It's kind of been one of those things that just had to happen with COVID and inflation and things like that. But before they go and present to Kansas Board of Regents, which has to approve tuition, they actually bring it to this committee of students, and they're like, hey, this is what we're proposing as a tuition increase, and this is why it needs to happen. So in the terms of like last year to this year, it was for staff increases, and we found that our retention rate on our really good staff was low, and we're like, I mean, if nothing else, like people is what makes this place so special, and it's so important that we keep our people. So, I mean, admin has just been super helpful. They're super awesome. They're super great at listening to student voices on things like that.
I will agree with that. The first resolution that I did in student government was around parking, infamous parking. But
I would love to know how you did that.
But it wasn't anything major. I kind of have moved away from parking. I think it's kind of one of those issues that's just never going to be solved. And but anyway, one day I was walking out. I think it was either from like a club meeting or student government. Got a ticket parking in the garage. Wasn't happy about it.
Story of my life.
Because I thought after 5 you can park on campus. That's what everyone told me.
Wait. Is that not true anymore?
That is. Well,
It's
I found
true.
out. the hard way. I found out with that ticket that that is not true. Certain places on campus, like each parking lot, technically has like different hours.
Oh,
So-
that. Are we serious,
And
guys?
It's just the garage.
It's already hard enough.
And so I was like, what the heck? I look around, there's no signs anywhere that tells you the hours that you can park here. So I said, this is a common misconception that no one is working to solve. And so, in fact, the parking services is making money off ticketing people that have this misconception on campus. And it wasn't just me that I talked to about this. I talked to so many other people about this issue. So I drafted a resolution about it, introduced it, and it actually got, shockingly, quite a bit of backlash on that resolution because some senators went up there and said that essentially if we put these signs up that would tell you, the students, the hours that you can park in the parking lot, then they would ticket less and then parking prices would go up. And so it actually ended up people didn't vote for it, shockingly for that reason. And I said, and so I was a little surprised by that because it was just, it's just transparency, it's fairness. If you're going to write a ticket, at least be
tell us.
transparent, be fair about it, be honest about it, and at least if you're honest and you can see the times on the lot and someone still parks there, that's on them by that point. And so I just went but the parking director was in the audience when I was talking about this resolution, and she actually talked to me outside. I talked to her outside Senate, and she said, actually, I think you made a lot of valid points. I would like to do what you're doing. And so that was really where I learned the lesson, first and foremost, of, you can't always get a lot done in student government. Funding-wise, that's the big thing for sure. But if you got kind of some of those other things, I just go straight to the person now.
Wow. I mean, and that's really interesting. And I do think that is fair. Although I find it very interesting that parking services keeps the price of parking down by ticketing the ne'er-do-wells, if you will.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, there have been times, guys, I've ne'er done well. Okay? Full honesty. But you can't catch me. We're having fun on the SGA Weekly Update. When we come back, we're going to keep the brass tacks to the side and learn a little bit more about Max and Matt themselves, how they got involved with SGA, why they chose K-State in the first place, and all of the above. All that and more is coming up next on the SGA Weekly Update. You're listening to Wildcat 91.9. You belong.
This winter, the fastest game on ice takes the world stage, and every Friday night, Athletics takes on the Olympics. From end-to-end rushes to highlight reel saves, from underdog upsets to international showdowns, join me, Soren Sublime, from 6 to 7 p.m. for analysis, updates, and all the intensity that only Olympic hockey delivers. This February, Athletics brings you the Winter Olympics hockey style.
Attention card masters and collectors. The Village Geek is home to card game favorites like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Star Wars Unlimited, Disney Lorcana, One Piece, and Gundam. With late night Dearborn coffee fueling the fun, the Village Geek brings together players, decks, and community. Learn more at villagegeekgames.com. That's villagegeekgames.com. And thank you, The Village Geek, for supporting the next generation of K-State media superstars on Wildcat 91.9. You belong.
You're listening to Wildcat 91.9, KSTB Manhattan. I'm Brody Sweeble, and you can take us anywhere, anytime with the Wildcat 91.9 app from the Apple App Store. Or swing by wildcat919.com to catch us live, read up on the latest headlines, browse photos, and more.
Now it's back to your music on Wildcat 91.9, where you belong.
This football season, Wildcat 91.9 invites you to experience the action of Tanner's Bar and Grill in the Ville. Savor Manhattan's favorite dishes from the full menu, served fresh day and night. And with Tanner's Kitchen open until 10 p.m., you'll have plenty of time to tackle every bite, whether it's halftime or overtime. Learn more at tannersbarandgrill.com. Once again, that's tannersbarandgrill.com. And thank you to Tanner's for supporting the next generation of K-State media stars on Wildcat 91.9. You belong.
K-State students, are you ready to take control of your finances? Meet with a PowerCat financial counselor today. Whether you need help crafting a budget, understanding credit, or comparing job offers, we've got you covered. We're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit us at the K-State Student Union, Hale Library, Cats Cupboard, if you're a vet med student at Trotter Hall, or Veneer for student athletes. Set up your appointment on Navigate or email finplan@ksu.edu with any questions. PowerCat Financial, your partner in financial success.
Keeping it cool. Hanging out, vibing out on the SGA Weekly Update on Wildcat 91.9. You belong. Jimmy Kaufman's the name. Yappin's my game. Back out on this beautiful Wednesday, technically afternoon. If it's 12:30 or like 12, anywhere in the 12 range of time, is it still noon? Like, does that count? Or is it officially, is it just, it's 12 o'clock, right? And then from that point, it's afternoon.
You see, it counts to me because, you know, in the summer, weekends, things like that, I may not be up until noon. So it's still morning for me.
Yeah,
you know?
What is noon? Noon could be 1 p.m. Is it ever really afternoon? Come on.
I mean, by the time you start, like, I mean, I like some of my 10:30 classes, things like that. 2:30 classes, I'll be snoozing. That's afternoon to me, you know?
Yeah, I get that. I get that. As a guy who, usually that's where I thrive. If I could, I'd just wake up at noon. I'd get the day going then. But, the early bird gets the worm, and that means that 9:30 is early now. Anywho, moving on. Jimmy Kaufman here, hanging out with the College of Business Senator Matt Holzmeister, as well as the College of Arts and Sciences Senator, as well as the Student Allocations Committee Chair, Max Black. We've been hanging out, guys. We talked a lot of brass tacks. I want to get into a little bit more of the chill side of things. I want to learn more about the people who are going after the parking committee, who are allocating the funds, who are writing the bills. Let's go ahead and get into it. I want to start with Max here. Max, where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from, it's a town called Carbondale, Kansas.
I heard of Carbondale.
You've heard of Carbondale?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, fire. We're about 20 minutes south of Topeka. Went to Santa Fe Trail High School, not to be confused with Santa Fe Trail Middle School in Olathe.
I'm from Olathe. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I was about to say there was a middle school named Santa Fe Trail.
Yeah, probably a same path, but different spots down it.
There's if you are anywhere near Santa Fe, you're on the Santa Fe Trail. All right? Yeah. And there will be a Santa Fe Trail school somewhere.
That's what I'm
Those
saying.
happen. Yeah. But no, I am familiar with SFT. But Carbondale, I think that's in top 10 Kansas town names.
Oh yeah, I think it's fire.
Carbondale's
sure.
definitely top 10. So, no, but it's very cool. It's very. How did you get involved with K-State in terms of college? Like, were you always going to go to college, or was it maybe it was always college?
Yeah, I was probably always college. It was probably also always K-State.
Really?
I was between here and Wichita. I was telling people that I'm waiting to see which gives me more money. I don't know. By the time they won the Big 12 championship, went to the Elite Eight and things like that, it really was probably never happening that I was going anywhere else.
So that was your senior year of high school when they did that. So that was my freshman year of college.
Oh, fire!
So I came here. To be honest, for most of my high school time, I was going to be a real estate agent. I was like, college is a scam. I'm not going. I'm gonna go sell real estate and be rich. Go to college, guys. College is more than just the school. All right, there's so many things at college. For instance, I'm talking into a microphone now. It's pretty cool and fun. Max or Matt, what about you? Where are you from?
I'm from Overland Park, Kansas.
Come on. Wait, what high school?
I attended St. Thomas Aquinas.
Okay.
School, so go Saints.
Come on.
Ultimately, just came to K-State. Really liked the tour. Enjoyed the people here that I met on the tour. But I was a freshman during the Big 12 championship game, Elite Eight. Maybe peaked a little too early. K-State sports peaked a little too early for me. It's just kind of been a little bit downhill from there. But unfortunately, people like Max, he doesn't know what it feels like to be in Arlington.
His peak's coming in Colin Klein's first year. I can feel it. I can feel it for you. But yeah, our fun peaked then. That was, although, what a peak, guys. I mean, 19 assists, Marquise Noel. Wow, what a guy. And also, I mean, I didn't even go to Arlington for the Big 12 championship. I was watching it in my dorm room with some friends. But we were running all around it. That was a good time. Ty Zentner, thank you. You know what I mean? So, good times, though. So, you're from Overland Park, St. Thomas Aquinas. I was an Olathe South guy.
Okay.
from Olathe. Go Falcons, I guess. I don't know. But were there any other options besides K-State in your mind, Matt?
KU was the other option.
Was the same here? I toured KU. Although my KU tour, not to badmouth people at KU, it's all good, but it was not that. It was not all that when I went to KU.
Yeah.
Well, KU was actually my first tour that I went on, so I
Same.
had nothing to compare it to. So, and then when I came to the K-State tour, then I was like, oh, okay.
I think KU might have been my second actually, but I remember like I grew up house divided, right? My mom went to KU, my dad went to K-State, so I went with each parent to their alma mater for the tour. Dad and I had a great tour at the time. I was looking at education. I was like, why not? Then I went with my mom and we left, and we were like, even my mom who's a KU alumni, she's like, that kind of is not it. I was like, I know, I agree. And that's how we all got to this table. But you guys are on the SGA Weekly Update Show. I want to know, Max, starting with you again, what was the journey to get to SGA? Was it something that you immediately wanted to jump into, or was it something that you kind of stumbled upon?
Yeah. I guess I was kind of thinking about it. I had a friend who did SGA back at another university, and then a good buddy of mine, Andrew Lee, who's now our speaker pro tem.
Andrew has been on here. Shout out Andrew.
Shout out Andrew Lee for sure. And SGA, what we got going is we have this Emerging Leaders program ran by Katie Zacko, fellow College of Business senator, absolute GOAT.
We have I don't know if we had Katie exactly on, but we have heard a lot about the Emerging Leaders program.
So Andrew was in Emerging Leaders and stuff like that, and he's like, yo, you should join Emerging Leaders. Never really got around to it, but I put my name on the Senate ballot. I ended up getting like 200 votes or something like that. Came in second in College of Arts and Sciences. So first time wasn't too bad, and then from there I just kind of slowly got more and more involved, I guess.
That's awesome. What was the journey like to get more involved? You started as a senator, you were doing the thing, but now you're the committee chair for the Student Allocations Committee.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you got the chair. How did that kind of come to be, and what does that look like in terms of putting your hat in the ring for those things?
Yeah, well, I kind of just, my first year, which was, I guess, my sophomore year here, I just didn't really say no to a lot. So I was on the Student Service Fee Committee, which is one of our lengthier time commitments as far as regular senator committees. I was caucus leader for the College of Arts and Sciences. I think Matt's College of Business caucus leader. So did that, was on Tuition and Fee Strategy Committee, and then I was on the Student Health Advisory Committee, the SHAC. The SHAC. We advise Lafine and look at how student health is cared for on campus here. So I kind of just did all that stuff, and then time came around. I was like, I want to get more involved, and I applied to be Student Allocations Committee chair. And then after we elect our new speaker and speaker pro tem, they get together and they choose their committee chairs. So I was fortunate enough to be, I guess, chosen for this position.
Wow, so you've seen a little bit of all that SGA has to offer. You've been in a lot of different rings. You've thrown your hat's being thrown everywhere.
Yeah.
So far, what has been, I guess, your favorite part of that journey, and what's been something that if someone's like, hey, I can go to any of these things, I'm trying to figure out which one I want to go to. Like, what would be your advice there?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's whatever you are passionate about, because like I like Student Allocations Committee. Obviously, it's my baby right now and stuff like that. But because it's awesome, because we work with a lot of student org. Each week we'll probably have like 4 or 5 student orgs come in and present to us, and I'm like, I'm not going on that. But that's pretty cool to hear about how the Jimmy Club is rolling up to Hawaii.
Hey, you heard it here first. You heard it here first.
But like Student Service Fee, Tuition and Fee Strategy Committee, I learned quite a bit about how things are paid for on the university level and things like that. So if that's your jam, if you're a real money guy, maybe go down there. The SHAC, you don't even have to be in SGA. You could just be anybody. And I mean, that's cool if you're passionate about student health like I was. So I mean, throw your hat in the ring for that. I mean, some of these are like weekly 4-hour meetings. Some of these things are only like every other couple of weeks you're meeting once for an hour.
That's okay. That's the motto for the show today. Throw your hat in the ring. All right, make sure throw your hat in the ring wherever you are.
Throw your hat in the ring. It's it's really like they got something for everybody. If you want to have a big time commitment, you can make it a big time commitment. If you don't want a big time commitment, you can do something very laid back and easy. But Katie Zacco did do a great job with Emerging Leaders. I actually tell Katie I thought Emerging Leaders was about to die out and be just done because no one was joining it. And she did a great job resurrecting that committee from the dead. But this past year when I came on, I did, this is my second year in SGA, so I actually did run a campaign last November. And really this year, I kind of bounced around a lot of committees. That's kind of what I enjoy, especially I've kind of investigated certain parts of the committee, or just, made sure that they're being efficient, fair to students. And so far I've done a pretty good job of that. And so the speaker has been kind enough to allow me to really bounce around. So right now I'm bouncing between community engagement and student service fee. And that I will be one of the few senators, I guess, that has been to on every committee. Or been to every committee meeting.
The Triple Crown.
Because otherwise, really, if you don't go to the committee meetings, you really don't know what's going on.
Right.
And you can't really do anything or do any affirmative or strong action against certain things or for certain things. It's not something that I really strive for, and really strive for transparency, making sure people know what is being funded, which I kind of uncovered a little bit during my first stint on a committee, investigating the Community Engagement Committee, which originally they kind of had a whole separate funding structure then, so they were almost like their own branch. So all they had to go to, they got allocated their funds, and it just went to committee rubber stamped it, and these organizations got their money, whereas every other committee, like Max's committee here, if they want to fund an organization, they have to go through committee, they then have to go to the student senate, and then they have to get the student body president approval. And so I said that's just not fair for certain student organizations to have to go through a more rigorous process, a more scrutinized process than this other committee, and so that's something that we really went after. And we were able to succeed and be successful with that. And so now I just kind of travel around, see what else we could fix.
That's awesome. So you're just walking around putting out fires. You're checking out every committee. I like the idea of just, you said earlier, throwing stuff to the wall and seeing what sticks, and including just getting involved. And Max, you talked about, not saying no and just kind of being willing to take those uncomfortable steps maybe, or to try something new. Matt, I guess what is your philosophy when you're going to these new committees? What's your headspace when you join something new in SGA?
Well, first off, it's just, is it fair, and are they being transparent? That's my two main criteria that I look at. I want to make sure that number one, the committee is hearing all viewpoints, and that they're treating every club and organization equally and fairly. And so that's where we really had an issue with the used to be the Community Engagement Committee used to be called the DEIB Committee, the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion and Belonging Committee. And they basically pretty much they funded pretty much just multicultural organizations, and then Max was a part of the Student Allocations Committee, which pretty much almost funded everyone else. And so really what I wanted to make sure we could do is that both committees had the same funding structure and the same committee and the same process of funding to really level the playing field for all students. And that's something that was my main mission and my main accomplishment so far, was being able to level the playing field so that way both committees are open to all students. They have the same funding, and they have or similar funding, and they have an equal process to go through and get that money.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about that too.
Please do.
I had the pleasure of being a part of a big funding right with myself, the chair of the Community Engagement Committee, and Joseph Lilly, who's our Senate Ops guy, which is a fancy rule for saying, or a fancy way of saying that he just makes sure we're following the rules and all the boring stuff like that. But we kind of had to, in response to state legislature and stuff like that, we have to fund our things in a certain way because we are considered a state entity. Fun fact, if you are a student org that represents or that gets an allocation from us and you receive a check, that check actually gets ordered from the state of Kansas, which is notoriously really fast and efficient, as you guys all know. So sometimes they may be waiting a little while. But we completely rewrote all of our statutes for funding student orgs earlier this year. I mean, it used to be the DEIB Community Engagement Committee. They would fund multicultural events that were to increase knowledge of these groups on campus and create inclusivity. And I mean, it served a nice purpose because it bridged the gap between those organizations and student government. And now we have such great relationships with those orgs. But the new way it reads, or I guess what SAC used to do was we would just allocate money to groups that were traveling or that were hosting, like, educational cut and
Events.
dry, the Biochemistry and Molecular Biophysics Graduate Student Association.
That was a little bit too off the tongue. That had to have been something you guys were actually working on.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
But they brought in like a speaker to talk about biochemistry. Now it's just it's a little bit easier. It's just student allocations is travel requests, community engagement is on-campus events. So it makes it easier for groups to apply. It's a more straightforward process of deciding it. And also, if you're like, the community engagement committee has more money because they can throw an event for 1,000 people. So we can put a lot of money towards 1,000 people. So it helps those groups that are hosting those educational events have more options for funding.
Which is where the conversation of getting approved for that extra $10,000 to allocate really comes into play. Things really get into view because then it's more money in the organization's pockets to make things happen on campus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the main problem ultimately I found in there was that, I'm all for, I love the current setup right now that we just changed it to where one committee funds speakers, the other committee funds travel. I think that's really a great way to set it up. But the problem with it before was that essentially all the multicultural organizations had access to more money. They had access to 37% of the student activity fee allocation, whereas student Max's committee, SAC, only had 11%. And so that was a pretty big disparity. And back then, Max's committee was funding, both speakers and travel. He just recently kind of got confined down to that. And so, again, that's what I was really fighting for, was just to make sure that every student organization could go. If they wanted to have a speaker, you can come here. It doesn't have to meet us. It just has to be educational. We're not going to, necessarily judge it based off of, race or multiculturalism. We're going to look at it plain, cold cut. Is it educational? Is it not educational? And then are we going to fund it? And so it's really opened it up to all the student organizations, which is really, I think, been beneficial.
We can fund anything we would have been able to fund before and more is
Wow.
kind of the nice thing about how it all works.
Just opening it up to more avenues. And in these
also
avenues.
with that is it is transparency as well, because what a lot of the community engagement committee under the previous governing rules, they didn't have to present the Senate with any of their funding allocations. And so what I saw was a lot of these groups were getting almost $20,000, and the ones that were going to Max were only getting $1,300. And so that's a pretty big difference. And so ultimately the DEIB Community Engagement Committee, ultimately their average allocation was around $5,000, whereas the Student Allocations Committee was around $1,300 on average. And so it was a big disparity that now we finally have closed up.
Big moves being made. So you guys finally close up that disparity, open up these avenues for more organizations to receive more money and create a better opportunity for a lot of different groups. How can groups right now that are listening best get help from this opportunity?
Ooh, I got you on
Oh,
this.
hit it. Come on, guys.
So any groups listening right now, shout out. This Friday, February 6th, is the deadline to apply for funding for all on-campus and travel events. To apply, you need to get yourself on Org Central. Log in. On the left side of your screen, there's a little tab that says Funding Opportunities. Click that there, and it's going to have a bunch of surveys and forms for you to fill out. If you're going somewhere.
When you say a bunch, what are we talking here?
I mean, there's some old ones in there. There's probably like 10, 15. But at the top, 2025, 2026, student allocations funding request. If you're traveling, that's the one for you. if you're hosting an event on campus, you need community programming fund request. There's a couple other things on there. Competitive sports clubs, if you guys haven't heard about this. If you're, club soccer, club volleyball, anything that competes against other universities that's not one of our D1 teams, you can apply for an annual budget. Now, that's for the following year, and that's been closed. Academic competition teams, that's your Wildcat Wind Power, PowerCat Motorsports, soil judging, anything like that.
Crop judging too?
Crop judging too.
They are national. We got fun. Give them all the money. Give them all the money. The national champs.
We got money for those groups to get a budget as well. That's also closed, but for those groups, if you didn't hear from me, then you must have had your email closed off, because I was sending out plenty of stuff on that.
He's sending emails willy and nilly. It's going crazy.
Yeah, and I will say one of the things I did learn was that there are, groups that know how to use the student government system and get the money they need, and there's groups that don't. And so I'm really been working and hounding the College of Business organizations and clubs to come and get money from Student Governing Association, because a big group of it is like the engineers. They know how to get money, and I see it like I feel like a large portion of the student allocations fund was given to engineers just because they know how to apply and they get it done. So I feel like it's a big part on the senator's job to go email their respective colleges, club leaders, club presidents, and see if they need any funding. And so that's a big thing that I have done and Katie has done to make sure that we are getting hopefully some of that money to the College of Business, because otherwise the College of Business is kind of just funding that with donors or different things like that. And these students pay into the fund just like everyone else, and they should be taking advantage of it. But you've got to apply. It's not. I guess it's if you don't apply, you can't get any of the money. So I feel like once you do apply, you pretty much get it, unless it's something crazy, unless you're asking for something, asking for too much money or for some crazy reason. But
it's that easy. Fill out the forms, Org Central, left side, all right? And they do want to help you. This is what it is for. It is important. And I guess you could say, throw your hat in the ring. Max Black, Matt Holzmeister, thank you guys so much for joining the first episode of the SGA Weekly update of the calendar year of 2026. You were the first ones, and for that, I give you well-deserved. Well-deserved, guys.
Hopefully we're able to talk about some good topics that actually apply to students, and it was entertaining for the listeners out there. I don't know.
Hey,
I know some of my family's listening, and they don't know anything about K-State or student government.
Shout out Katie Black if you're listening right now.
It's still all of it's important. Shout out Katie. Before we go, I do have one more. This is probably the most important question I've ever asked. Seahawks or Patriots this Sunday?
Ooh.
Well, I actually predicted the Seahawks Patriots last weekend. I think that was free money.
Yeah.
I kind of saw, with Bo Nix hurt, I thought the Patriots were automatic. And
right.
Then so anyway, I got the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are going to win. I had JSN on my fantasy team.
He is automatic. I mean, he's turning. He turned the leaf.
He's cold.
Max?
Well, go Chiefs first and foremost.
Come on, thank you.
First and foremost, go Chiefs. Bad year for us. That's okay. I'm probably hoping the Seahawks win just because it's the Patriots. Can't get that bad taste out my mouth.
Needs to be justice for what Malcolm Butler did on that fourth goal.
See, I say with the Patriots now as a Chiefs fan, we've been to the Super Bowl 5 times, won 3 of them. I kind of get it. It feels nice. I get what the Patriots were all about now. I'm like, I like it's nice having a dynasty, but unfortunately didn't make the playoffs this year. So that's why hopefully next year.
That's what I'm feeling. I mean, I want to get back to that mountaintop. That felt good being there. You know what I mean? So
hopefully Coach Klein gets the Cats up there.
Hopefully Coach Klein. All of those things coming at a later date. But for today, for the SGA Weekly update from Matt Holzmeister, from Max Black, and from me, Jimmy Kaufman, we say thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next Wednesday at noon with another wacky cast of characters talking about the SGA and giving you your weekly update. But for today, for Wednesday, for February 4th, we say thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. You're listening to Wildcat 91.9 KSDB Manhattan. You belong.
Danny, my voice is a little bit gone. I think there's some, I don't know.